morning and welcome to Rent-A-Friend Radio. I am Rent-A-Friend2000, your host. Today is Feedback Friday, and so we're going to be looking at some of the responses we've been getting from our loyal listeners / viewers / readers. By far my favorite of the past couple of weeks. This comes from a guy whose title is Foolish is He Whose Confidence is Born of Stupidity and Bolstered by Arrogance, also known as Roger Wilco. So, Roger Wilco, probably not his real name, although Foolish is probably not his real name, although Born of Stupidity and Bolstered by Arrogance might be his Indian name. I don't know. He didn't name any specific tribe affiliation. The fact that I've argued that if atheism is true, atheists don't exist, that doesn't bother anybody, apparently. Whereas, a lot of people have been like, no, man, you're using the word atheist wrong. So, that comes back to Roger Wilco. He wrote me a couple of comments. We have a special celebrity guest in the studio today. Alright, joining us via Skype. We've got Batman. Because I've decided that Roger's comments are so epic, especially the conclusion he comes to, that they need to be read by somebody more epic than me. And thus, I'm going to have Batman read his comments. Batman, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Let's do this.
Okay. So if you could just read his first comment that he left me, I can say what I wrote back.
Alright. Your description of atheism is incorrect. Using your ducks, I hold no belief regarding the ducks in the box. Further, I hold no interest in the contents of the box. That's completely different than an affirmation that there are no ducks in the box.
That was great. Now, what he's talking about there is, I said, just to give an example of something that you can agree, disagree, or not know about. I said, suppose I come in the room and I've got a cardboard box. And I make the claim that I've got 2 ducks in the box who are wearing party hats. Well, your 3 positions are confirmed, yes, I believe he's right. Plausible, it might be true, but I don't know. And busted, I know he's not telling the truth. And so my metaphor there, of course, is that, the theist says, yes, there are ducks wearing party hats. The agnostic goes, I don't know, it's possible, but I don't know. And the atheist goes, no, there's no ducks in that box. So that's what he's talking about, the ducks. So, I wrote back and I said, hey, thanks for your comment. Your statement is almost correct, except that you reject my definition of atheism. My definition is correct, and you'll note that you make no attempt to defend your rejection of it. If you want to change the definition so it means no belief, or no interest, then my shoe is an atheist. That not only rejects the root of the word and the way it's always been used, but it makes the word useless. Words mean things. If you don't like what they mean, then find other words to use. But you aren't Mr. Webster, and I suspect he would be upset if he found out you were trying to do his job. Old man Webster was a stickler that way, but it does help when we're trying to communicate with other English-speaking people. Now, the comment that he wrote back... Batman, can you read that for us?
Yeah. Good God, your shoe is not a sentient being. Look me up when it is.
I love having him on the show. So, I looked at that and went, okay, good God, your shoe is not a sentient being. Look me up when it is. That's not worth posting, so I just hit delete. Apparently, WordPress tells you when your comment's been deleted, and Roger got all upset. Now, this response is fantastic, and this is why I have Batman on the show. Batman, please read Roger's response.
You're a coward. Remember this? Remember stating that my definition of atheism, your shoe was an atheist? Remember my response? Good God, your shoe is not a sentient being. Look me up when it is. Swear to me!
He didn't say that.
Well, he should have.
Just keep reading what it says.
Okay. Remember thy moment of fear and shame when you realized how stupid your remarks were. Remember deleting my reply. Remember blocking me. Remember feeling that bit of guilt as you added in your reply to remove your idiocy. Hold on to those memories. That's what it's like to be human. Your religion, your God, caused you to run in fear. Remember that too. As a God-loving Christian, you have a lifetime of fear and lies ahead of you. Remember, I have a blog too. Your cowardice will not go unrewarded. Swear to me!
He doesn't say that.
He should have.
Thank you, Batman. Okay. This may be the greatest reply I have ever gotten on a post. I mean, it's so epic. On the other hand, it does raise a few questions. First, if I blocked him, how did I get this response? Well, I would think that blocking would block him, but I got this response. On the other hand, if I did get this, then why does he think I blocked him? I honestly don't know what he's talking about. Can I do that on WordPress? I mean, I need to read the instructions. 2, what idiocy did I edit? Because he seemed to be accusing me of removing his comments. Is he the idiocy I removed? That doesn't make sense at all. 3, how is deleting a worthless comment of 15 words cowardliness? Seriously, what am I supposed to be afraid of? It's not really a good point at all. I mean, does he really think that I'm afraid it'll get out that my shoe is not sentient? That doesn't bother me. I thought it might bother my shoe, but we talked it over, and both of my shoes are more than comfortable with it. Even my sock seems fine with coming out of the closet as an inanimate object. I do have a coffee mug, which is copying an attitude about it, but that thing will argue about anything. I mean, I think it might be slightly cracked. He did punish me, as promised, by writing a blog post on his blog site. Now, when I say writing a blog post, what I mean is commenting down this exchange, and then adding some really almost unintelligible comments. I mean, it didn't make, even the title, I was like, what in the world is he trying to say? So, not an English major. So the question you're asking is, are there ducks in that cardboard box? Well, there are actually. There are 2 mallards named Eric, who, it seems, both love wearing those hats. I would not have guessed ducks would like wearing hats, but they just adore it. So, here's where Roger and his friends need to read what they've written. Having no position because they lack the knowledge to take a position is agnostic. That's what that word means. It literally means without knowledge, or in American, I don't know. I wrote that in the blog old Roger here is commenting on. He almost understood that, but then he switched the terms. He described himself as agnostic, but then tried to apply the definition to the term atheist, which, as I explained, means a position of believing the world to be godless. When you toss the word atheist onto the word agnostic, they both lose their meaning, because you're saying, I know God is not there, and I don't know enough to take a position. And I seriously doubt that's what they're trying to say. Because it's higgledy-piggledy nonsense. It's like claiming to be a polygamous bachelor. You cannot both take a position and not take a position because you acknowledge insufficient information to choose a side. This is called the law of non-contradiction. As for my shoe, the one that he referenced in his profound comment, which I, overcome with fear, deleted. I remember it well. I know it's not a sentient being, but then, if you start with atheism and follow the logic where it leads, neither is Roger. Roger differs from my shoe only in the complexity of his chemical makeup. If atheism is true, then he, just as my shoe, is a random collection of atoms which for a brief time will share space before the second law of thermodynamics scatters them to other places. Well, that and my shoe was made by an intelligence, with a purpose, and thus can be said to have meaning and value. That was kind of the point I made in that post. Perhaps he missed that. Not to be too critical, but maybe everybody, Roger included, should read for comprehension before commenting, and especially before dedicating his own valuable time and blog space to replying to me. I do appreciate the shout-out, though. Anything to drive up traffic, right? You know, in case I start selling merch someday. Can have some t-shirts, coffee mugs, I don't know, it's in the planning stages. Anyway, this has been Rent-A-Friend Radio. Today has been Feedback Friday. I thank you for your comments, and your questions, and your posts, and your retweets, and liking and subscribing, and all that jazz. So, shoot me an email, send me a post, send me a Twitter, blah-de-blah-de-blah. Have yourselves a nice day, and thanks for letting me be your Rent-A-Friend.